Hey there guys, what is going on? Today we've got another video in our best class setups in Modern Warfare series. The Warzone update is in full swing and everyone seems to be loving it at the moment. Of course, there are some things that they would like to change, but we're not going to talk about that today. So you're probably wondering where is the Warzone content from me? I'm working on it, don't worry. I'm trying to rustle up the boys, get some games going, and make some awesome videos that you guys will like. But in the same update, we did also receive a brand new shotgun, the VLK Rogue, and it's one of the more interesting weapons in the game. The VLK Rogue shotgun is a semi-automatic and it does fire quite quickly. It's got pretty bad one-shot range, I'm not gonna lie. It's about 4 to 5 meters, but the two-shot range is actually pretty decent, out to like a maximum of probably 12-ish meters. You do kill most people in about 2 shots at 12-ish meters, like I said, and it's going to be like a 3 to 4 shot after that. This is another weapon that you unlock through a challenge in this game, that is to get 7 kills in 15 different games with a shotgun with 5 attachments. This was a little bit of a bug when I did try it, but it seems to be working now. You just sort of have to get those attachments and play as many games as you can with decent shotguns. So 725 class setups all round if you are trying to unlock this. Make sure you do use this 725 class because it is still busted. Check the top right for that one and then come back here. But it is certainly a fun weapon to use, like I said. It's not the best, but you'll definitely have a pretty good time using this one. But just before we do get into our class setup here, let's try and get this video to 6 likes. The support for the videos has been absolutely awesome recently, so huge thank you to you guys for supporting me and my videos. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button with the notifications turned on so you get notified when my videos go live. We are of course only a couple of subscribers away from hitting 200 since we started uploading the Modern Warfare stuff, and 500 overall. Right, we are talking about the best class setup for the VLK Rogue. Okay, so as I said, the VLK Rogue is not the best gun going around of course, but some of you will still need a decent class for it to compete with those weapon challenges for various camos and other good things like that. Plus, it's actually fairly fun to use. It's not the best, but it is actually pretty fun. You can do some pretty nutty things with it, like just continuously firing the weapon as you do walk around corners. The enemy really can't do anything about it if they are super close, which is pretty funny. Like I said before, the one-shot range isn't actually spectacular. It's about 4 to 5 meters, which is fairly short in the shotgun class. It could probably be extended out by a little bit by aiming down sight, tightening that pellet spread, but the 2-shot range is where this weapon really does shine. Typically, it's further than about 10 meters for a 2-shot, which is sometimes more reliable than the 2-shot range of the 725. I'll include that there. Plus, it does fire the second shot very, very quickly. The fire rate on this thing is pretty fast, so getting that second shot off is really, really important. And it's pretty easy as well, and should let you plenty of kills. I feel like this gun is balanced around its fire rate. If it had a nuts one-shot range and a fast fire rate, the gun really would be overpowered and the game wouldn't be much fun anymore. So I do see where Infinity Ward is coming from with this weapon balance. But still, it could probably use a bit of a buff to its damage range. Extending out that one-shot kill range would probably make this weapon very, very powerful, even overpowered in my opinion. So let's talk about our class here. It is a pretty good one. So starting off with our sidearm perks and grenade choices here, we'll go over them quite quickly because they are very similar on all of my classes. Our sidearm is the Deagle here. We got the Hot Nugget variant because it looks kind of neat with this camo on as well. You'll need to fight at slightly longer ranges sometimes. This shotgun just doesn't quite cut it at, so we have set it up like this. We've got the Monolithic Suppressor, the Forged Tac Enforcer Barrel, the Tac Laser, the Lightweight Trigger, and the 13-round mags. This is a really, really powerful class setup for the Deagle, and sort of a little bonus one for you guys here. Perk 1 is one of 3 choices that you do have here. EOD is for not dying to those explosives. Kill Chain is for getting those really powerful streaks into other powerful streaks. And my new favorite sort of attack perk, rather, at the moment is Quick Fix, which does help you get that health regeneration started as quickly as possible. And you do get a little bit of boosted health regeneration when you are capping objectives, which is really powerful and can actually work really well with this class because it does have a neat little quirk that I'm about to talk about in just a second. In the perk 2 slot, we do have Ghost, which is a really powerful combination with the Tracker perk. Basically, it makes us undetectable by UAVs, and it's really powerful. Just staying off that radar is really, really strong. Like I said, this works in combination with our perk 3, which is Tracker, which you can see enemy footprints, so it's really easy to get behind people and make good use of being sort of stealthy and getting behind people, being really strong on those flanks. In the lethal slot, we do have the C4, of course, which is really strong for clearing out areas, but all these are very, very good options. They all do a certain job in a very good way. And the tactical is the stim shot here because I'm sweaty as heck. But do note that sometimes when you do use the stim shot with this gun, because of the way it does fire, you can't actually fire when you're using the stim shot because you do have to recock the weapon. So if you do have something loaded, like if you do have a shell loaded, you'll be able to fire it. But if you haven't sort of recocked the weapon with the little handle on the side, you can't fire while you're using the stim. You can if you have already done it, but it's just a little bit of an interesting mechanic that does apply to this gun. So starting off with our attachments for the VLK Rogue, in the muzzle slot we do have the Forged Tac Marauder. Basically chucking a brick on the end of this gun, we do get the sound suppression damage range, and it does tighten our pellet spread, which are definitely the most powerful bonuses to get on a shotgun, of course. It's the perfect option in this slot, and it works together with our barrel choices to make the VLK Rogue actually pretty strong. We do of course lose a little bit of aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness, but we can make up for that with other attachments. We're aiming for basically 1 to 2 shot kills here, as I've mentioned already. We can typically get away with 3 shot kills sometimes, but any more than that, we're in really big trouble. So you do want to make use of that 1 to 2 shot kill range, which is basically 5 to 12-ish meters, give or take. This attachment really does help us reach that maximum damage range, and it really does tighten our pellet spread an awful lot. So in the muzzle slot, of course, we've got the Forged Tac Marauder, and that is the first attachment that we've gone with in this class. And next attachment slot, we've got the barrel slot, and we're rocking the first available barrel, which is the VLK Tsar. With this, we do get damage range and a tighter pellet spread. We do also lose a little bit of aim down sight speed and movement speed, but again, we're not going to be aiming down sight an awful lot. It does tighten our pellet spread, but sometimes with a shotgun, you don't really have time to get those sights up. You just sort of want to get those shots on target. Like I said, you're going to be getting 1-shot kills at about 5 meters and 2-shot kills after that, which is still pretty powerful. Like, that's powerful enough for a shotgun. The 16-inch Warlord barrel is also a good option here, but the range increase isn't as significant. Like, you can see on these little bars here that the VLK Tsar does actually have that little bit of extra range. It's not too significant either way, and you'd probably do a fairly good job with both barrels, but in my opinion, I actually do like the VLK Tsar a little bit more. I feel like this is one of the slots that they could use a bit of a buff. I'm sure at one point they'll tack on a little bit of extra range to these barrels, because I feel like this could be one of the best guns in the game if they gave it a little bit of love. You'll be really effective if you're playing super aggressively, trying to get as close as possible to enemies. You want to make use of that 1 to 2 shot kill range, because you are really powerful when you're hitting those 2-shot kills. Trust me, it's very, very strong. Don't get me wrong, I don't actually think this is one of the best guns in the game at the moment, but it's certainly really fun to play with. You've got a little bit of extra challenge trying to hit that second shot, and it's just a gun that I really do enjoy using. So in the barrel slot, we do have the VLK Tsar, and that is the second attachment in this class. Next is our laser slot, and in this slot, we do have either the 1mW laser or the 5mW laser. With this, we get sprint to fire speed and hip fire accuracy with the 5mW option. With the VLK Rogue, you need to play very, very aggressive. You're going to need to be sprinting in and out of cover with this laser. You can get your gun up super, super quickly. Normally, I'd say that you could use the 5mW laser sort of as by default, and you definitely can get away with that. There is always an argument to be made for the other way around, though. If you do think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to keep that little green light out of sight, you want to run the 1mW laser. If you don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, just sort of practicing that crosshair placement, placing it on doorways before enemies can actually see it, then flick and hit the shot. If you think you're more capable of doing that, use the 5mW laser, because it is actually really, really strong to get that increased hip fire accuracy and that sprint to fire speed as well. It's super, super powerful. So if you don't think you're capable of that, use the 1mW. If you do think you can manage that, use the 5mW laser. They are both very powerful, but in this case, we're going with the 5mW laser because of the hip fire accuracy. I think it's really strong with this gun, especially since we don't actually sometimes have time to aim down sight to get that hip fire spread, or the tighter pellet spread rather. So yeah, 5mW laser, and that is our third attachment in this class. No optic here, of course, because we are using a shotgun, so anything other than an iron sight is a waste of an attachment. Moving on. The stock slot is the same. Basically, we've got enough attachments here that the stock slot isn't really necessary. You can, of course, take the stock off with the no stock option, but again, it's not super, super powerful. It does help you be more mobile, but I feel like we need all the help that we can get with our other attachments. So again, moving to another attachment that we actually do have here is the pump grip slot. We do have the XRK race grip, which does give us that recoil control and aim down sight speed at the cost of a little bit of movement speed. This is a really strong attachment for the VLK Rogue. The recoil control really does help us land that second shot. It's just one of those attachments that just gets us more kills, basically. Aim down sight speed is also a really powerful option in this game on pretty much every weapon, and I'm sure you know that by me repeating the stipple grip tape line a bunch of times, and we'll get there eventually. This is no exception to that. Aim down sight speed is really strong on every gun. It's pretty simple. More shots on target equals more kills. I feel like they could probably put a little bit of a fire rate increases on one of these pump grip attachments just to give this weapon a little bit more of a boost. But what are you going to do? This is what we have to work with, and this is the best pump option for sure here. This is the XRK race grip for that recoil control and aim down sight speed, and that is the fourth attachment in this class. And lastly, as I already mentioned here, these are the best stats for the VLK Rogue. We've got the rear grip slot with the stippled grip tape, aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Man, It's always hard to go past these stats. They are probably the best stats in the game just for how often they do get used. Getting those sights up as quickly as possible and being able to sprint around freely, knowing that you'll be able to pull up that gun is of course very, very powerful in this game. Plus, as I've mentioned already, aim down sight speed on shotguns does tighten the pellet spread up, so it does benefit you to aim down sight where possible. The iron sights aren't super crash hot here, but I wouldn't waste an attachment slot for it, so if you do aim down sight, you'll want to get it up as fast as possible just to get those shots down range. So it turns out that, unsurprisingly, this stipple grip tape does a fantastic job on the VLK Rogue. You just love to see these stats, man. It's just super, super strong. If you are looking for one of the best attachments for this shotgun, look no further than the stippled grip tape. And that is the last attachment for this class setup here. Right, so this is our full class setup here, of course. All of the attachments that we've chosen make the VLK Rogue really, really fun to use in this game. I feel like this weapon will definitely get a buff in the future. At least some of the attachments will probably get a little bit of a tweaking because this gun definitely does need some love. It's not super powerful, like it's pretty okay of a weapon. Like it'll do its job as a shotgun, but it's not overpowered in sort of any stretch. And if you do use it, you'll have a pretty good time because it's very fun to use. Most of you are probably out playing Warzone, so maybe don't take this one into Warzone. Maybe stick to like 6v6 or 10v10, like Shipment, Shoot House, stuff like that, close quarters maps. And I'm sure you're looking forward to me making some Warzone content. And trust me, it is coming, of course. I'm trying to rustle up the boys to get some games going, and I like Warzone. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you do leave a like and do subscribe with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of the upcoming videos. We are, of course, getting closer to 500 subscribers all the time. We're literally only 16 subs away, which is already really wild. And does help me by letting you know that you are enjoying the content. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!